All right, this is the last video, I promise. All right, so it says, number 20, determine two coterminals. So there's that vocabulary that you need to be comfortable, aware of. Coterminal are angles that end at this, have the same terminal side. One positive, one negative, and give your answer in radians. So I gave you the example in our notes of degrees, right? So we said it's the given angle. To find a coterminal angle, you always take the given angle and you add or subtract, and I said 360 degrees if I'm talking about degrees. But what's a full rotation? What's a full rotation in radians? We know that it's equivalent to 2 pi. So we're just going to change this, that when we're working with radians, we're not going to add 360, we're just going to add 2 pi. So add or subtract. So I'm going to take my given angle, that's the most important, is to start with whatever they give me, and I'm going to add 2 pi to it. Well, how do you add fractions? You need a common denominator. So I need to change 2 pi to be in the form of 8 pi over 4, which is also equivalent to 2 pi, but it now has the common denominator that I'm looking for. And when I go ahead and add that, I get a negative pi over 4. And there's my one coterminal angle that happens to be negative. Well, I'm looking for one that's positive. Well, so that means I'm going to take my negative pi over 4, and I'm going to continue to add another 2 pi. If I had, let's say, a positive, I would then go ahead and go back to the given angle and subtract 2 pi from it. But because I came out after adding 2 pi with a negative, I need to continue to add 2 pi to get out of that negative range. So again, you need a common denominator of 4, so that's negative pi over 4 plus 8 pi over 4, and now I get a positive 7 pi over 4. So 7 pi over 4 and negative pi over 4 radians are coterminal angles to negative pi over 9. Okay, next is they ask you to rewrite the angle in radian measure as a multiple of pi. So they want me to convert. This is saying rewrite it in radian measure. They're giving it to me in angles. So this is when I have to think about the conversion of 180 degrees is equal to pi radians. And I'm looking for radians, and I'm looking to get rid of degrees. So remember, if I want to get rid of degrees, I want degrees on the bottom, and I want radians on top. So that means that the conversion is going to go pi on top and 180 on the bottom. And when I do this, I get 144 pi over 180. Now guys, you're not allowed to use a calculator. You could think about different values that go into it. If you can't, you can start small and say, okay, 2 definitely goes into both of these. This is 72 pi, and then 2 goes into this 90 pi. And then if I look at this, let's just see something. If I do, just going to double check right here. If I continue on with this, I know 9 goes up into 72 8 times and goes into this 10 times, and then I know 2 goes into this 4 pi over 5, and that's my final reduced version. And you won't be working with a calculator, so that's how many steps it might take you unless you know larger common factors, but that's your answer. Okay, and then I think, is this our last one? Okay, second to last. They say find the angle in radians. Well, I noticed that they gave me an arc, my arc of 6. So if I see arc and radius, I immediately think of my formula, SOHR. And I need to remember that this is my arc length. This is my radius. And this is my angle. But remember, the angle is in radians. So they want the angle in radians. Well, that's great because it's going to be given to me in radians. This is never can be in degrees. So I'm just literally subbing in the information I have. I have 6 for my arc. I have 5 for my radius. And I'm looking for theta. So you're just going to divide this by 5, divide it by 5, and I get that my angle is 6/5 radians. And that's it. All right, one more, last one. I know you're probably just as tired as I am talking about radian, degree, and measure, right? So find the length of the arc. So again, this is what I want to jump off the page for you. Length of the arc. As soon as I see that ACT, SAT, trig, pre-calc, AP calc, you see length of the arc, I want you to think of SOAR. Of a circle of radius r intercepted by the central angle. Well, they're telling me they want me to find S. So that's find the length of the arc. So S is going to be my unknown. They told me my radius is 15 inches. Great. And then they told me my angle, but I have to stop and panic for 5 seconds because they gave it to me in degree. And I'm telling you, you cannot put degree. This angle must be in radians, right? So don't just blindly throw in 180 there. You just need to take one extra step and say, okay, what is 180 degrees in radians? Well, that's actually nice because we know that's just pi radians. So I can just go ahead and say this is pi. And so therefore my arc is just 15 pi. And now, again, we're not, for our class, you'll leave it at like this, but say this was the SAT and they gave you choices, you could just type in 15 times pi in your calculator and it's going to give you 47 point, maybe they say to the nearest tenth, 47.1 is the length. And that's it, guys. That is the end of our lesson. I'm sorry that you had so many videos to watch, but we haven't fallen behind, and you are going to do your homework, and the homework problems are going to be on that worksheet, number 4, 6, 11, 13, 19, 49, 80, and 90. So those are the numbers you need to do on the worksheet that I was just working off of. All right, have a good time with that.